Friends, if you have a single phase motor and to run this motor if you want to use a contactor, then in this condition the contactor you will use should be a two-pole contactor. Two-pole contactors are used because we only have to connect the phase supply and neutral supply. Now the problem with this two-pole contactor is that you will not get any NO-NC contact with it. Now, if there is no NO-NC contact in this contactor, then in this condition we cannot use the push button to start or stop this contactor. If you want to start the contactor without using the NO contact, then you will have to use MCB or you will have to use the selector switch to turn it on and off. But through today's video, I am going to tell you a method in which without using the NO contact, you can turn this contactor on and off with the push button. So first of all, to do the wiring, the two wires of this motor here in which we have to connect the phase supply and neutral supply, by taking these two wires and the power terminal of this contactor, output 1, I connect it with this in this way. Now we have to connect the input power supply with these two terminals of this contactor. So for this, I am using MCB here. I am connecting one wire with the phase terminal of MCB which I will use for the phase supply, and I am connecting one wire with the second terminal which I will use for the neutral power supply. So in this way I connected both the wires. Now what I have to do by taking these two wires in this contactor with these two terminals I have to connect. So I connect the neutral power supply on the first terminal and the phase supply on the next terminal in this way. So to run this single phase motor I have done the power wiring here. If I turn on the MCB, after turning on the MCB, if I start this contactor in any way, like if I press this, then you will see that my contactor has started here and my motor has also started running. After releasing this, the motor is off. It means that my power wiring is complete. I am turning off the MCB. Now here we have to do the control wiring. So to start this contactor, the control wiring that we will do, first of all we will connect the start push button in that wiring. Because here we do not have NO contact, so first of all we have to connect the start push button. So I have a wire. By taking this wire, the phase supply which is connected here, through which we are providing phase supply to the motor, I have to connect this wire with the same wire. So I take this wire and connect it to this point. In this way, I connected it directly. Now I take the other end of this wire and provide the input power supply to the start push button. I connected it here. Now with the output terminal of this start push button, I am connecting a wire through which I will provide the power supply to the stop push button. So I am taking the stop push button and I am connecting it directly here in this way. Now from this stop push button, power supply will go to the control terminal of this contactor. It means that it has to be connected to the coil terminal. So I am using a wire here. I take this wire and connect it to the stop push button first. And the power supply that will come from it will go to the A1 terminal of this contactor. A1 terminal is below here. It means that it is here, so I connected it with it in this way. Now to operate this contactor, we have to provide neutral power supply also. So what I do is that this terminal here, I mean that the terminal on which the neutral power supply is connected, I connect this wire with the same terminal. In this way I connected it. Now the power supply that will come from it, we will take it to the neutral terminal of this contactor, that is A2 terminal. A2 terminal is here. So I connect this wire with this in this way. So let's understand the connection that we have done so far. First of all, friends, see, through this MCB, I took the phase supply and neutral supply and connected it to its power terminal. Now I connected the motor wire to the output of this power terminal. What I have done in the control wiring is that I connected the NO push button with the phase supply. The power supply that will go from the NO push button will go to the NC push button, and the power supply will go from there to the A1 terminal of this contactor. I provided the neutral power supply directly to the A2 terminal. Now let's understand what will happen after doing this much connection. So first of all I turn on the MCB. After turning on the MCB, if I press the start push button, you will see that the motor started running. After releasing it, the motor is off. After pressing it again, the motor is on. It means that the contactor is not be able to hold at this time. Now if you want your contactor to hold, that is, if you press the start push button, then your contactor should remain in on condition until you press the stop push button. So for this, you simply have to do one thing. This power terminal here, you have to use this power terminal like the NO contact. How we will do it? See, what you have to do is power terminal here in which we have connected the phase supply, you have to connect a wire with the output terminal of this. I take this wire here and I am connecting it directly here in this way. Now take the other end of this wire. In this top push button where it is getting input power supply, connect this wire there. It means that power supply which is coming from the start push button, you have to connect it with that power supply. So I am loosening it a little. After loosening it, I connect this wire here. So to make a holding circuit, we just have to connect this wire. Friends, when making a holding circuit, you always take care of one thing, that the phase supply used here for controlling, use the same phase supply for holding also. If you accidentally connect this wire to the neutral supply or any other phase supply, then in this condition, in your contactor, at this point there will be a short circuit. So always keep this thing in your mind. The power supply you use for controlling, use the same power supply for holding the circuit. Now I start the power supply here. After turning on the power supply, if I press the start push button, then you can see that the contactor is on. At the same time, my motor has started running. Now if I want to turn off this motor, then simply press the stop push button. My motor will be turned off. That is, my contactor is off. Now see once again, if I want to start it, then I will press the start push button. My motor has started. If I press the stop push button, my motor is turned off. So you saw just now, even without using the NO contact, I have made the holding circuit of the push button here. To make the holding circuit, I have used the power terminal of this contactor here directly. That's it. So friends, I hope you liked this video. If you like this video, then do like, share and comment on this video. Thanks for watching this video.